the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And coming up on the news at noon, getting ahead of the winter storm, how D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are already preparing for a nasty day of weather in the region. And later, demanding justice, the family of a man killed by an FBI agent inside of a metro station speaking out. They're saying about the moments leading up to the deadly shooting. Well, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Mark Hall. Meteorologist Damon Matson joins us with the latest check on the forecast. And Damon, right now things are quiet, but we know change is coming.
That's right, Mark. We have that nasty winter storm that's already beginning to knock on the door, and it's still likely to bring some highly impactful weather to the region starting as early as tonight. Again, check out that winter storm. Again, it's expansive as it covers from the upper Midwest with that snowfall and some of that wintry mix down to the south and east where there is some rainfall. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit here to where that precipitation is now starting to get a little bit closer to the four-state region as we have that rainfall through the Tennessee River Valley back up into the Ohio River Valley as well. Now, despite this precipitation already knocking on the door just off to our west, we are likely to continue to stay dry as we move forward here through the rest of the day today. But we're talking about expansive warnings and advisories out there across the entire region. And this was just issued earlier this morning. Ice storm warnings now cover the I-81 corridor from Berkeley County in West Virginia down through Winchester along the Blue Ridge Mountains in northern Virginia. And this also goes back to the west as you start to have those ice storm warnings into places like Cumberland, Kaiser, Garrett County. And within the ice storm warning is where we are expecting the highest ice totals that could get up to a half an inch of ice. And at that point, that is impossible travel. You cannot really go much of anywhere at all, and there could be some significant impacts. Trees and power lines knocked down from that much ice accumulating. Now, in this lighter purple here, we have a winter weather advisory that goes all the way east to the I-95 corridor into the D.C. metro. Within this advisory, there is likely to be at least a few-hour window of freezing rain early tomorrow morning before we do start to see a slow transition over to a cold rain from east to west. So we could still have some impacts as far east as the D.C. metro and I-95 corridor. Here's the timeline with this system. We're talking about that freezing rain arriving for everybody shortly after midnight tonight. We'll have that short time with that freezing rain, but along our eastern zones, we will quickly switch over to a cold rain around 7 to 9 in the morning. But out to the west, there's not going to be a switch over to rain. It's going to continue to be freezing rain and sleet. That's where we'll have those major ice accumulations possible before everything finally starts to wrap up by your Thursday night. So the main threat here that we are going to continue to track is that freezing rain. And then we could have some sleet mixing in and then wind on the backside of this system. That could also cause us some major problems. So again, what is the timing and how much ice could we see in certain locations through the day tomorrow? We're going to have a check on that for you coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. And happening now, it may be clear right now, but you heard Damon mention the wintry weather is certainly on the way. DC News Now's Lex Juarez has how crews are preparing.
Well, crews have been out all night in Maryland, Virginia, and D.C., salting and priming, pre-treating those roads before the winter weather gets here late tonight and into tomorrow morning. This is one of the largest salt depositories in the state of Virginia. Trucks have been coming in and out all morning to replenish their supplies and head back out on the roads. Now, in Northern Virginia, VDOT was able to treat and pre-treat most of the roadways that they needed to do overnight last night, and throughout the day today they will be pre-treating the roads in the Fredericksburg and Spotsylvania areas. And in DC, the Department of Transportation is mostly pre-treating the roads that are on the U.S. highway systems as well as bridges, those that are prone to be icing first. Now, the department actually added 40 more biodiesel trucks and more electric trucks to their fleet across the DMV. They have been preparing preparing for the winter season since last year's season ended. All of them have replenished salt and brine supplies. There are hundreds of thousands of tons of salt and brine ready to go for this winter season. They also say that it's important, though, that drivers remember the role that they play in keeping the roads safe.
It becomes a lot more dangerous. There's no strategy to driving on ice. If you can telework, great. The more room that crews have on the roads to be able to treat the roads, we're better off.
Now, with keeping road safety in mind, if you are having to drive on the road, it is important that you keep in mind if you see any of those salt trucks or plows out on the roadway, make sure you're getting out of the way so that they can do their jobs in getting the roads cleared. If you're inside of DC, make sure that you're not parking in any of those snow emergency routes. And if you do park in a residential area, make sure that your car is as close to the curb as you can get it. In Virginia, I'm Lex Juarez, DC News Now.
Lex, thank you. Developing now, the same storm heading our way has already left death and destruction behind in other parts of the country. In Keithville, Louisiana, near Shreveport, authorities found the body of a young child. Right now, crews are searching for their mother after a tornado tore through their community last night. Officials say the 2 other people were taken to the hospital. And be sure to stay with DC News Now for continuing weather coverage. You can get updates all day by going to dcnewsnow.com, and we will also have live team coverage beginning at 4:30 tomorrow morning. Loudoun County parents aired out their disapproval of the public school board last night over how it handled 2 separate sexual assaults at 2 different schools. More than 70 people signed up to speak at the school board meeting just hours after former Superintendent Scott Ziegler appeared in court facing charges stemming from the investigation. Public Information Officer Wade Beard also was in court. Parents of one of the victims are calling for more firings, saying if they allow those involved to stay at the school, they're hurting the district's children even more. Well, today we're hearing from parents and teachers who say conditions at D.C. public schools are not safe for students. It comes after a November audit found D.C.'s Department of General Services is failing to manage work orders. Our Marielle Carbone reports they're demanding accountability from DGS.
Inside the walls of Whittier Elementary School, teachers, students, and staff feel like their issues are ignored.
I'm asking for someone, anyone, to put students and teachers first.
Joshua Wiley is the assistant principal. He says rodents are increasingly a problem. Heating issues linger, and the Department of General Services is not fixing plumbing problems quickly.
3- and 4-year-olds have been learning in classrooms with sewage issues for approximately 50 calendar days.
There have been numerous times in which I informed families to pack extra sweaters to withstand the chill of the classroom.
First grade teacher Melissa Black says it can feel like punishment to work in the Whittier building, and that work orders are often falsely marked as closed before the problems are actually fixed.
If I did my job the way that DGS does theirs, I wouldn't have my job.
Work that has been prioritized will be assessed, scheduled, and completed as soon as possible, contingent upon resources.
Keith Anderson is the director of the Department of General Services. During a hearing Tuesday, he said the agency is working to speed up responses and repairs. Part of that is by standardizing all D.C. public schools, so repairs and routine maintenance from lighting to HVAC systems are the same everywhere. As far as falsely closing work orders, the agency says that's not entirely true. Repairs may be listed as complete if initial steps are done, while the agency works on fully completing the repair.
That's work that was actually done, and it was completed. We needed to capture that cost. Well, then there's a next step.
The agency admits it needs to work on its communication.
And that was Marielle Carbone reporting. DGS typically does a blitz during the summer where it targets and fixes problems across schools. Now, there's another blitz planned to start over the winter break. The family of Troy Bullock is speaking out after he was shot and killed by an off-duty FBI agent during an altercation on the Metro. His family feels investigators are choosing not to speak with them about their loved one, a man they say was loving and hard-working. Our Leonard N. Fleming takes a closer look.
I just don't understand. I don't know. It's just so hard to know that we won't see him again.
Troy Bullock's aunt, Charlene Bullock Turnage, couldn't hold back tears, nor could his pregnant girlfriend, his parents, or other family members, incensed and saddened at his death.
his dad and his mom, you know, he would come home from work and, you know, stop by, you know, you need anything? They say no, but he'll just leave something anyway.
Upset at his portrayal by police as a criminal with a record and a gun, they push back on that narrative.
You know, go home to be with his fiance. She was waiting for him to come home and cook dinner because he liked to cook. Tay
Campbell was a witness to his hard work for a moving company.
He was a really good guy, a great family man, and he would take the work first. He would be the first one to put it all on his back.
Other people who lost loved ones to police shootings showed up too in support. Family attorney Jade Mathis.
Mr. Bullock was also a black man, and that should never equate a death sentence here in the land of the free.
On the evening of December 7th, Bullock got into an altercation with an off-duty FBI agent. During the scuffle, they pushed each other over a wall and fell 8 feet down onto a subway platform. Then the agent fired his gun, killing Bullock. Mathis said the Bullock family deserves answers.
We stand in solidarity and support for their grieving, their mourning, and their quest for answers, and for law officials to do what's right.
And that was Leonard and Fleming reporting. A police spokesperson told DC News Now investigators have reached out to the Bullock family and directed them to the medical examiner's office. That office has not responded to us at this time.